Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the December 2014 Texas Tech University Commencement Exercises. Please join me in thanking the Texas Tech Commencement Band and conductor Dwayne Hill for their participation in this evening's ceremonies. The Texas Tech Commencement Band is provided for today's exercises through the auspices of the Office of the President of Texas Tech University. Now entering the United Supermarkets Arena, the Mace of Texas Tech, the symbol of the university. The mace bearer is Dr. Stephen Cook, Associate Professor of Psychological Sciences, College of Arts and Sciences. Following the mace is the faculty banner. The banner bearer is Dr. Aurelina Orfila, Associate Professor of Art History, College of Visual and Performing Arts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the faculty of Texas Tech University, led by University Marshals Marcus Tanner and Courtney Meyer. Now entering the United Supermarkets Arena, the stage party, led by University Marshals Shelley Barba, Chair of the Convocations Committee, and Barrett McCool, Chair-elect of the Convocations Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated and welcome the December 2014 graduates of Texas Tech University, led by University Marshals from the Convocations Committee. Now entering the United Supermarkets arena, the banner of the graduate school. The banner bearer is John Robert Middleton.
Our national anthem will be played by the Commencement Ensemble, conducted by Professor Dwayne Hill, and sung by Mr. Michael Needham, who is receiving a Bachelor of Music with a major in music. Please rise for the national anthem. We invite all of you to join in singing of our national anthem. Thank you.
Bursting in her, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. I'm Dwayne Nellis, president of Texas Tech University, and it's my pleasure to welcome each of you to this, the December 2014 commencement of the graduate school. I'd like to introduce the members of the platform party. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Mr. Mickey L. Long, he's the chair of our Board of Regents. Dr. Micah Ensley, chief scientist of the United States Air Force in Washington, D.C. Mr. Robert Duncan, chancellor of the Texas Tech University System. Dr. Lawrence Skuvenek, provost and senior vice president. Dr. Richard Meek, faculty senate representative. Mr. Ben Monticello, president-elect of the Staff Senate. Dr. Deborah Fowler, teaching academy representative. Dr. Bruce Clark, Horn professor representative. Dr. Mark Sheridan, dean of the graduate school. Dr. Michael Gallion, dean of the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources. Mr. Andrew Vernoy, dean of the College of Architecture. Dr. W. Brent Lindquist, dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Lance Nail, dean of the Jerry S. Rawls College of Business. Dr. Scott Ridley, dean of the College of Education. Dr. Stephen Aquaro Osire, associate dean of the Research and Graduate Programs for the Edward E. Whitaker Jr. College of Engineering. Dr. Michael San Francisco, dean of the Honors College. Dr. Linda Hoover, dean of the College of Human Sciences. Dr. David Perlmutter, dean of the College of Media and Communication. Dr. Carol Edwards, dean of the College of Visual and Performing Arts. Dr. Robert Duncan, vice president for research. Mr. Larry Anders, vice chair of our Board of Regents, and Mrs. Nancy Neal, member of our Board of Regents. Let's give our platform party a round of applause. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Mickey L. Long, chair of the Board of Regents for Texas Tech University, who will greet and welcome the graduates, faculty, and members of the audience on behalf of the board. Let's welcome Chairman Long to the podium.
Good evening, and welcome to Texas Tech University and our beautiful campus. It is my distinct honor to be here today representing the Board of Regents of the Texas Tech University system on this special evening. I congratulate the parents, family members, and friends who join us today for the fall commencement ceremony at Texas Tech University. And on behalf of the entire Board of Regents, I pay tribute to those of you who will receive your diplomas today. The fact that you are here is a sign of your commitment, and your dedication. To the graduates of 2014, please accept our congratulations for a job well done. You should take pride not only in your accomplishments, but also in your alma mater as you are graduating from one of the greatest universities in this nation. Now, as you conclude this chapter in your life and stand on the verge of another new and exciting phase, keep in mind the lessons you learned at Texas Tech. These lessons will serve you well in your career and in your life. We're proud not only of what you have achieved during your time here at Texas Tech, as it is exemplified by your walk across the stage today, but also of your potential to accomplish even greater things as your journey through the years ahead. As you begin that journey, find strength, knowing that you've received a strong foundation, and remember that Texas Tech and the Red Raider family will always be here for you. Wherever your path leads, do not forget to live by the words of the Matador song, "Strive for honor evermore." If you do that, you will find success. We look forward to hearing of your successes in your new role as alumnus, and we wish each of you and your families all the best in the future. Please keep in touch, and remember, you're always welcome here, and as always, go Texas Tech. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Long. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Robert Duncan, Chancellor of the Texas Tech System, who will address the graduates, faculty, and members of the audience. Let's welcome Chancellor Duncan.
Thank you, Dr. Nellis. When each of you arrived here on our campus to begin your educational career, we told you from here it's possible. Well, you did it. It is possible. But that phrase goes not just to your education career here, it goes to what you can accomplish after you leave this university. And so now the challenge is on to you. The challenge is on to you to carry on the motto, "From here it's possible," and do like other alumni of this university have done. For example, as you have gotten your degree here from this and have earned your degree here from this university, you see names on buildings like the Rawls College of Business, Jerry Rawls, one of our graduates, the Whitaker College of Engineering, one of our graduates, the Mark and Becky Lanier Professional Development Center, the law school, the Bob Hurd Department of Petroleum Engineering. All of these folks were graduates of our university in several different capacities who have given back to this university and have made it the great university it is today. And so as you move on into your careers, we hope that you'll remember Texas Tech University and you'll remember the great faculty that you had here that mentored you and made it possible for you. And so with that theme, "From here it's possible," we challenge you now to go out and make more things possible, to be the best that you can be, and remember your alumni family here at Texas Tech University. Come back and see us. We love to have you back. Filling the seats at the football stadium, coming to our alumni events, and renewing your acquaintances with your former students or with your student friends and colleagues. Thank you for your success, and we look forward to seeing you again. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chancellor Duncan. And now it's my honor and pleasure to introduce to you this year's commencement speaker, a fellow Red Raider and a 1982 industrial engineering graduate. Dr. Micah Ensley is Chief Scientist of the United States Air Force in Washington, D.C. In her role, she provides assessments on a wide range of scientific and technical issues affecting the Air Force mission. Dr. Ensley's research focuses on the design, development, and evaluation of systems to support human situation awareness and decision-making in aviation, air traffic control, in space, cyber environments, military command and control, and in medicine, as well as power systems operation. She's author of more than 180 scientific articles and reports on situation awareness in individuals and teams, as well as human automation integration, information dominance, human system integration, human error, and training for situation awareness. Previously, Dr. Ensley served as president of SA Technologies in Marietta, Georgia, a cognitive engineering firm specializing in the development of operator interfaces for advanced systems, including the next generation of systems for the military, aviation, air traffic control, medicine, and power grid operations. She was a visiting professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, in the Department of Aeronautics and Astronautics, and associate professor of industrial engineering at Texas Tech University. Dr. Ensley received a PhD in industrial and systems engineering from the University of Southern California. She has received numerous awards for her teaching and research and is a registered professional engineer. She truly has an outstanding career, author or co-author of 3 books, including Designing for Situation Awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our commencement speaker, Dr. Micah Ensley.
Distinguished faculty, honored graduates of 2014, proud and relieved parents, I'm so very happy to be here with you today. I'd like to thank President Nellis, Chancellor Duncan, and the Board of Regents for inviting me here to share in this great celebration with you. Well, I'm looking at a lot of happy new graduates. Your professors are also happy that you're graduating. You've completed all their assignments, you've passed all their tests, and they're happy that they have successfully imparted their combined wisdom and experience. I think they all deserve a great round of applause. But having sat where you all are sitting, I know that the happiest people here today are the parents. They've encouraged and cajoled you. They provided laundry services, meals, and money. They've been patient with changes in majors, living quarters, and significant others. But mostly, they've continued to believe in you and in your ability to make it to this day. Let's give them all a hand. Now, Texas Tech is a school that you can all be very proud of. It's steadily climbing in the rankings of top U.S. public universities and in its status as a top research institution. It was named one of the best in the West by the Princeton Review, and it's in the top 5% of affordable colleges with the highest return. These are all accomplishments to be very proud of. After leaving Texas Tech with my bachelor's degree, I had the opportunity to study and to teach at some of the most highly touted universities in this country. And I can tell you that without a doubt, I would not trade the well-grounded education that I received here at Texas Tech for any of them. It's true. Not only have you benefited from a world-class education, but you've had the benefit of living and learning with some of the best people in the world. As Texas Tech continues to grow and to develop its research reputation, I hope that it never forgets the value of teaching and the learning that occurs in an environment that treats students like family. It's a unique quality at this university that I think sets it apart from many that are out there. I've been at Texas Tech a number of times in my life, first as a student, then as a faculty member, later to serve on the Industrial Engineering Department Advisory Board, and then as a parent, and now at this commencement. Now, when I first graduated from Texas Tech over 30 years ago, I thought that was it. I never dreamed I would keep coming back here this way. But I've learned that this university provides a lot more than that shiny diploma that you're going to get today. It provides the opportunity to build lasting relationships with your classmates and with your professors. It provides learning experiences that you'll take with you that far exceed what came out of your textbooks. It provides the opportunity to continue to give back and to make a great university even greater for those who follow behind you. As you leave here today and go forward into whatever life has in store for you, I hope you all maintain the links that you developed as Red Raiders. You'll find that Texas Tech can continue to provide a strong anchor and a central role throughout your lives. Now, I know that the new graduates who are sitting here today are actually wondering two things right now. One, where's the best party tonight? Two, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Some of you have jobs lined up. Some of you are still looking. Some of you are going on for even more graduate school. But whatever direction you go in, the real key to making a difference and having a successful and interesting career can be summed up in one word: innovation. The largest part of finding success in your chosen field will be to find ways to innovate. Now, innovation is hugely important. It's the major driver behind improvements in our economy. Economists, for example, estimate that around half of all the economic growth since World War II is due to the innovation of new technologies from research and development. The average rate on return for publicly funded R&D ranges from 20% to 67%. Examples of publicly funded innovations that we've all benefited from include the internet, GPS, MRIs, refrigeration, endoscopic surgery, and the widespread global communication and transportation networks. Silicon Valley and advanced healthcare delivery are just two examples of modern industries that have been built on the wealth of innovation. The global competitiveness of the United States depends on our ability to continue to innovate, particularly in science and technology. While the U.S. has led the world in science and technology for much of the last century, this is changing rapidly as U.S. investments in R&D have been decreasing while other countries have been significantly increasing their investments. The U.S. was responsible for 42% of R&D across the globe in 2000, but this decreased to only 29% by 2012. China, on the other hand, is increasing its investments in R&D by 18% per year, and it's projected to surpass the United States within a decade. This has significant implications for our ability to build a strong national defense capability that's able to address the rapid pace of technology change worldwide and the far more sophisticated and capable threats we will potentially face in the future. And just as importantly, it has significant implications for our national economy, which has been strongly driven by innovation in the technology sector. The economic driver of investments in scientific research and development will directly impact you no matter what career path you choose. Innovation is also critical in many other areas that you all will be involved in, from building and running companies, to innovation in music and the arts, to finding ways to innovate new methods of improving education in the classroom, to developing new policies and approaches for dealing with the challenges of running our complex economy and interacting with other nations on a global stage. We need innovation in agriculture as we seek to clothe and feed a growing world population during a period of climate change and increasingly severe climate events. We need innovation in preserving natural resources in the face of significant increases in worldwide demand. And we need innovative ways of coping with the significant social changes that are happening in our world today. Innovation simply is making the world a better place, one bit at a time. In short, innovation is the key to progress and to meeting the ever-growing list of challenges that our country faces. Now, where does innovation come from? I used to think that it happened with very smart people in labs somewhere. The truth is, all of us can be innovative if we think about it, and it happens everywhere. There are 5 key principles to innovation that I want to share with you this evening. The first is you have to be willing to try new things. Every good thing that's ever happened to me in my career has been because I was willing to try new things and not to be afraid to innovate. Now, I don't think I'm naturally any more innovative than any of you who are sitting out there today, but I was not afraid to speak up, to look at what was going on, and to try to come up with new ways to do things, new questions to ask, and to try things that we weren't doing yet. 30 years ago, when I was a young engineer working for Northrop Aircraft, I was willing to speak up and try newly developing technologies like touchscreen displays, voice recognition software, and artificial intelligence that nobody really knew much about and didn't know if they would work. Today, you'll find all of those on the iPhone that's in your pocket. 2, look for the problems around you. Innovation doesn't just happen in university laboratories or in the garages of inventors, and not just in hot new startups in Silicon Valley. Most innovation can and should happen in every business that you're in. Just look around and find the problems that need solving. In most organizations, that's not too hard. Now, some people just grumble about problems, but others ask why, and how can we do this better? Think on that till you find a solution. Okay and status quo are not good enough. Now, this can range from big ideas to the mundane. Starbucks made everyday coffee shops into a $10 billion annual business by saying, we can make this a much better customer experience. They sought perfection in making and serving coffee. They introduced a wide variety of new products, and they created an environment that was unlike any that had been before it. Another company called Neat has just revolutionized the home thermostat market, something no one's really thought about or changed in decades. They make elegantly designed, simple to use, and operate thermostats that automatically adjust to the building occupants, replacing the complex programming that's required by most previous thermostats. It's a whole new revolution in temperature control systems. Today, there are engineers who are redesigning the common light bulb. They're embedding the light within the function of materials such as blankets for newborns that will swaddle them in light and treat jaundice. All of these are successful innovations around everyday ideas. Third, have the courage of your own convictions. Be critical of your own work to find ways to make it better, but don't let the naysayers discourage you. And there will always be naysayers. For every innovator, there are always 10 people who would tell you why it'll never work, and they never accomplish anything. Fortitude and stubbornness are assets. Steve Jobs made Apple into one of the most innovative companies of his generation. He had the vision of a better technology, and he stuck with it. When I started talking about situation awareness at conferences 25 years ago, none of my colleagues knew what I was talking about, but I stuck with it. Today, it's one of the hottest topics in my field. It pays to stick to your guns. Fourth, innovation is a lot more than just having a good idea. 99% of good ideas never get off the drawing board because the person who has them doesn't put forth the time and energy to act on them. You need to know how to test, refine, and implement that idea. Very few ideas are perfect right at the start. Most take time and development to get it right. You need to develop the technical and business skills to move ideas into practice. Innovation is multidisciplinary. It's creative, it's collaborative, and it's global. Making good ideas come to life often depends on working well within teams. So remember to pay attention to the people in your organization who can make or break whether or not your innovation gets into practice. And you need to make it your habit to continuously innovate and improve on your ideas and create new ones. Apple lagged behind in the 90s as it lost its innovative edge. When Steve Jobs came back to the company, he reinstated the culture of innovation that brought them back to the top. Massively redefining fields such as the MP3 player and smartphones that were actually dominated by other companies at the time. Today, it's among the most successful technology companies ever, but they can't rest on that because Samsung's already nipping at their heels with their inexpensive Galaxy phones. Samsung carefully laid the foundation required to get into the markets it wanted to by cheaply manufacturing key technologies, and then it moved into those markets in a big way by creating the whole product and being willing to try many models to find the ones that were successful. Today, Samsung is investing heavily in medical devices, solar panels, LED lighting, biotechnology, and batteries for electric cars. They know that they have to keep innovating in order to stay in the game because current markets can become quickly obsolete. Number 5, don't be afraid of failure. We can learn as much from what doesn't work as from what does. Post-it notes are a very famous example of turning a failed product, a really bad adhesive, into a very successful product. Penicillin was discovered by accident. After struggling to develop a viable light bulb for months and months, Thomas Edison was interviewed by a reporter who asked him if he felt like a failure and thought he should just give up. Edison replied, "Why would I feel like a failure, and why would I ever give up? I now know 9,000 ways an electric light bulb will never work. Success is almost in my grasp." And shortly after that, and over 10,000 attempts, Edison invented the light bulb. Albert Einstein once remarked, "Anyone who's never made a mistake has never tried anything new." Most ideas take many iterations to get it right. Failure is just part of the path to success. There are a lot of big problems out there that need solving. Global warming, the loss of the manufacturing base, terrorism, poverty. I'm highly confident that those of you who are sitting here before me today will solve those problems. Maybe not all of them, maybe not by yourselves, but by looking around you and being innovative to solve the problems that you find, you'll each make a real difference in whittling away at these challenges. As you leave here today, all successful graduates of Texas Tech University, I urge you to take risks. Be okay with a few failures, and be the ones to solve the problems around you. You'll never be bored. You'll always have new opportunities. And you'll be able to stand here one day at a future commencement like this one and look back on successful careers and accomplishments. Good luck, class of 2014 Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ensley, for that excellent commencement address. We really appreciate your words of wisdom. And now I'd like to turn the program over to our provost, Dr. Skuvenak.
We will now proceed with the conferring of the degrees. You will note that we have a table located at the west side of the stage. A representative from the Alumni Association will be handing each graduate a commemorative lapel pin as a graduation gift with good wishes from the association. The Alumni Association extends congratulations to each of our December graduates, and you are encouraged to maintain contact with Texas Tech University through the Alumni Association. Will all candidates please rise? Degrees are awarded to those who have successfully completed all requirements established by the university and the faculty of their colleges and departments. President Nellis, the candidates are recommended to you for conferring of the respective degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of Texas Tech University, I confer upon each of you the degree for which the provost has recommended you. Congratulations. And please be seated.
We will now proceed with the recognition of individual graduates. Please hold your applause until all graduates have been recognized.
The graduates for doctoral degrees will be recognized first. By tradition, each recipient of a doctoral degree will be invested with a hood that will be presented by the faculty member who supervised their research or scholarly activity. After the hooding ceremony, graduates for master's degrees will be recognized. At this point, will the graduates for doctoral degrees and their major professors please proceed to the platform as directed by the marshals.
The banner bearer for the graduate school, receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in curriculum and instruction from the college education, is Dr. John Middleton, hooded by Professor Patricia Patrick. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in biology is Dr. Courtney Thomason, hooded by Professor Rich Strauss. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in chemistry is Dr. Yunli Murcha, hooded by Professor, Yunli Hu, hooded by Professor Yehua Murcha. Dr. Ray Soon, hooded by Professor William Hayes. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in clinical psychology, Dr. Katrina Cook, hooded by Professor Joaquin Borrego. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in counseling psychology, Dr. Nicole Bartholomew. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in English, Dr. Joseph Justice, hooded by Professor Susan Lang. Dr. Kellyanne Ure, hooded by Professor Marta Kafande. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in environmental toxicology is Dr. Vineet Kumar Singh, hooded by Professor Siva Paramaswaran. Dr. Sarah Webb, hooded by Professor Celine Goddard Cotting. Dr. Morgan Wilming, hooded by Professor Jonathan Mall. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in experimental psychology, Dr. James Cazares, hooded by Professor Jessica Alquist. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in history is Dr. Sarah Myers, hooded by Professor Julie Willett. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in mathematics is Dr. Placida Amali Dasanayake, hooded by Professor David Weinberg. Receiving the degree of Doctorate of Mathematics is Dr. Sachit Abeyasundara, hooded by Professor David Weinberg. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in physics is Dr. Daniel Dominguez, hooded by Professor Luis Grave de Peralta. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in political science and master's in public administration is Dr. Sylvia Gonzalez Gorman, hooded by Professor Nelson Demetrius. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in technical communication and rhetoric is Dr. Francis Tertia Johnson, hooded by Professor Susan Lang. Dr. Thomas Russell Kirksey, hooded by Professor Amy Korber. Dr. Rhonda Weary, hooded by Professor Fred Kemp. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in agricultural and applied economics is Dr. Donna Mitchell, hooded by Professor Phil Johnson. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in animal sciences is Dr. Paul Broadway, hooded by Professor Chance Brooks. Dr. Jennifer Martin, hooded by Professor Chance Brooks. Dr. Arlene Garcia Marquez, hooded by Professor John McGlone. Dr. Geraldine Hergenrader, hooded by Professor Bradley Johnson. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Plant and Soil Science, Dr. Alexandre Caldera Hocatali, hooded by Professor Dick Auld. Dr. Ratan Chopra, hooded by Professor Mark Burrow. Dr. Brendan Kelly, hooded by Professor Eric Heckett. Dr. Cassandra Planck, hooded by Professor Edward Hellman and Professor Tane Montague. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Wildlife Sciences is Dr. John McRoberts, hooded by Professor Mark Wallace. Dr. Jonathan Martin, hooded by Professor Stephen Meserve. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Curriculum and Instruction is Dr. Stephanie Talley, hooded by Professor Peggy Price. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Education with a major in Educational Leadership is Dr. Denver Crum, hooded by Professor Fred Hartmeister. Dr. Rayleigh Taylor Self, hooded by Professor Fernando Valle. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Special Education is Dr. Lila Abbey, hooded by Professor David Richmond. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Counselor Education, Dr. Melissa Gaw, hooded by Professor Brett Hendricks. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Educational Psychology, Dr. Kristen Campos, hooded by Professor Tara Stevens. Dr. Matthew Ducat, hooded by Professor Stephanie Jones. Dr. Zane Reef, hooded by Dr. Stephanie Jones. Dr. Lori Grubbs, hooded by Professor Stephanie Jones. Dr. Matt Joyner, hooded by Professor Stephanie Jones. Dr. Stacy Jo Martin, hooded by Professor Stephanie Jones. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Education with a major in Higher Education, Dr. Michael Simon, hooded by Professor Stephanie Jones. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Chemical Engineering, Dr. Lan Ma, hooded by Professor Ronald Hedden. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Computer Science, Dr. Eduardo Colmenares Diaz, hooded by Professor Zhu Zhang. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Electrical Engineering, Dr. Anita Sarah Subaraj, hooded by Professor Stephen Bain. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Industrial Engineering, Dr. Maria Natalia Rossi Vagoya, hooded by Professor Patrick Patterson. Dr. Yu Lin Huang, hooded by Professor Barbara Millett. Dr. Kyun Zhang, hooded by Professor Shiran Wang. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Mechanical Engineering, Dr. Timothy M. Horton, hooded by Professor Attila Evtas. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Systems and Engineering Management, Dr. Leonidas Guadalupe, hooded by Professor Mario Baravidas. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Wind Science and Engineering, Dr. Neha Marate, hooded by Professor Andrew Swift. Dr. Shirwen Zhang, hooded by Professor Charna Chanjuri. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Family and Consumer Science Education, Dr. Erica Hendricks, hooded by Professor Karen Alexander. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Human Development and Family Studies, Dr. Rebecca Erin Costina Ritchie, hooded by Professor Jackie Fitzpatrick. Dr. Jennifer Rojas McWhinney, hooded by Professor Nancy Bell. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Interior Design, Dr. Hessam Gamari, hooded by Professor Ibayatio Patti. Dr. Michelle Pinson, headed by Professor Christy Gaines. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Marriage and Family Therapy, Dr. Caitlin Rose Leckie, hooded by Professor Doug Smith. Dr. Ji-hee Sung, hooded by Professor Ann Prouty. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Nutritional Sciences, Dr. Keely Hawkins, hooded by Professor Deborah Reed. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Mass Communications, Dr. Dustin Andrew Hahn, hooded by Professor R. Glenn Cummins. Dr. Kim Pewitt-Jones, hooded by Professor Kevin Stoker. Dr. Andrea Phillips, hooded by Professor Trent Seltzer. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a major in Fine Arts, Dr. Gregory Lee Chambers, Jr., hooded by Professor Christopher Smith. Dr. Leobardo Guerrero Ramirez, hooded by Professor Carla Cash. Dr. Paige Petruka, hooded by Professor Norman Burt. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Musical Arts with a major in music, Dr. Melinda Wade English, hooded by Professor Michael Stone. Receiving the degree of Master of Arts with a major in Applied Linguistics, Serena Mangano. Larissa Kay. Jordan Powell. Receiving the degree of Master of Arts with a major in German, Bettina Christner. Mitchell Grease. Receiving the degree of Master of Arts with a major in History, Renee Celeste. Tiffany Jasmine Gonzalez. Jeremy Hugan. Receiving the degree of Master of Arts with a major in Romance Languages, Maria Luz Bateman. Mohammed Sambi Abrahim. Gorge Abrahima Tal. Receiving the degree of Master of Arts with a major in Sociology, Morgan Johnson. Amber Thompson. Receiving the degree of Master of Public Administration, Oscar Elias Flores, Jr. Alexandria Alyssa Myatt. Anuruddha Kumar Pandey. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Applied Physics, Ganga Jararatana. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Chemistry, Sean Horn. Wei Ma. Tan Jiao Yang. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Environmental Toxicology, Aaron Conti. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Exercise and Sports Sciences, Allison Carls. Elizabeth De Ferrari. Sean Messick. Victoria Murdoch. Philip Pike. Jonathan Sides. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Forensic Science, Hiro Abdule. Amanda Beltran. Nicole Fields. John Garza. Kelsey Hartman. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Geosciences, Christopher Treat. Rachel Weiss. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Mathematics, Mehira de Silva. Sanat Kahagalaga. Anna Krylova. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Statistics, Danamali Bandara. Receiving the degree of Master of Agribusiness, Brandon Bounds. Diane DeVos. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Agricultural and Applied Economics, Kyle Graves. Bushra Ferdos Khan. Travis McAllister. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Agricultural Communications, Kaylee Gilbreth. Taylor Hicklin. Mallory Newsom. J.C. Proctor. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Agricultural Education, Sofia Bazuela Obando. Cassie Davidson. Hillary Fink. Jonathan Jose Maciel. William Chance Parton. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Animal Sciences, Jessica Baggerman. William Clay Burson. Blaine Corliss. Sosi Yakovides. Lonnie Woolley. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Plant and Soil Science, Anusha Abezinge. Ravini Matagadira. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Soil Science, Corey Bryant. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Wildlife, Aquatic, and Wildland Science Management, Kristen Lanier. Receiving the degree of Master of Architecture, Catherine Anglin. Blake Arnold. Yulin Aruti. Morgan Avin. Rodrigo Avila. Aaron Campbell. Vincente Carrasco. Christina Casanyan. Nathaniel Cook. Gerald Gui. James Cade Hammers. Christopher M. Hernandez. Kyle Kennerly. Talon G. McCart. Eloisa McGill. Erica Meyercord. Rene Javier Paez Jr. Jigna Patel. Tyler Porter. Eric Solozano. Alexandra Stobart. Jackie Tu. Giovanni Velasquez. Johan Winter. Anthony Zufelt. Receiving the degree of Master of Architecture and Master of Business Administration with a major in General Business, Annette Baima. Receiving the degree of Master of Business Administration with a major in General Business, Abraham Arroyo. John Bassa. Christopher Beard. Robert Cooper Biesert. Deanne Blackburn. Beverly Bowen. Corey Burson. Hugo Cardenas Ruderer. Alexa Collinson. Dylan Ford. Eric Huizar Cruz. Casey Felton. Margarita Ada Flores. Ana Elise Alayas. Vanya Franco. Joseph Gauze. Justine Gonzalez. Nicholas Hall. Mackenzie Hodge. Ryan Lee Holcomb. David J. Essern. Nicholas Robert Jarkey. Carly Dale Lamanak. Jacob Lindsay. Joshua Long. Maureen Mata. Ernesto Merlos. Andrew Malloy. Matthew Eric Myers. Bradley Newton. Kevin Knowles. Jared Paget. Jaime Pazantes Mino. Rhett Lyle Reeves. Christopher Rivas. Nicholas Robertson. Alondra Marina Rohr. Tate Rush. Thomas Smith. Magdalena Sofia Soto. Matthew Tondat. Hermes Vaca. Margaret Page Warner. Brandy West. Winkata Amerapu, receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Management Information Systems. Sonali Digwal. Wenjun Chang. Indra Reddy Malala. Saikrisha Muniganti. Suhas Patil. Rohit Ramteke. Mohit Sachdeva. Omkar Sawant. Receiving the degree of Master of Science in Accounting with a major in Accounting, Brooklyn Barber. Caitlin Cash Berry. Ashley Carr. In Chin. Caitlin Clark. Christopher Cunningham. Claire Davis. Thomas Doherty. Courtney Edwards. Shelby Elder. Andrew Furrens. Devon Goulburn. Rebecca Gray. Alexandria Hardwin. Aaron Hassick. Taylor Howell. Jeremy Hubbard. Amanda Johnson. Marlon Kraus. Rahim Lalani. Nicholas Lambie. Madeline Lebeuf. Sarah Lowe. Mackenzie Lowry. Katie Meadows. Brianna Mino. Cody Monette. Eric Meyer. Trevor Myers. Lindsay Nelson. Olivia Ohms. Laura Elizabeth Ponder. Christy Ramcharan. Ainsley Taylor Robinson. Hannah Sullivan. Caitlin Mary Trevino. Jing Wu. Hannah Zinzer. Receiving the degree of Master of Business Administration with a major in General Business and Master of Science with a major in Business Administration, Jeremiah Govera. Justin Michael Patrick. Receiving the degree of Master of Business Administration with a major in General Business and a Master of Science with a major in Management Information Systems, Nina Reddy. Receiving the degree of Master of Education with a major in Bilingual Education, Elda de Santiago. Adolfo Gonzalez. Ivan Khan. Robert Nunez. Receiving the degree of Master of Education with a major in Counselor Education, Alicia Albus. David Michael Horn. Yvonne Lomeli. Christina Lusk. Amy Onofre. Joseph Silva. Laura Sabotic. Liberty Spradlin. Michelle Tanner. Anna Lee Treveno. Kelly Wilhite. Robert Wozniak. Receiving the degree of Master of Education with a major in Curriculum and Instruction, Lisa Marie Howe. Aaron Rogers. Corinne A. Wright. Receiving the degree of Master of Education with a major in Educational Leadership, Chris Hulse. Nicole McNew. Keisha Steen. Receiving the degree of Master of Education with a major in Elementary Education, Michelle Holcomb. Julia Prieto. Receiving the degree of Master of Education with a major in Higher Education, Joanne Reagan Wright. Receiving the degree of Master of Education with a major in Instructional Technology, Candace Hendricks. David Hooks. Brian Nordstrom. Receiving the degree of Master of Education with a major in Secondary Education, Jose Watson. Receiving the degree of Master of Education with a major in Special Education, Sonia Ashley. Michelle Barr. Linda Laurel Lautz Burnett. Lori Kyle. Ashton Dulworth McGee. Amanda Derlene Sellers. Kathy Wilson Sharp. Katie Michelle Showalter. Receiving the degree of Master of Engineering, George Morales. Receiving the degree of Master of Environmental Engineering, Wendy Stephanie Acosta Quintero. Andrew Graham Ard. Timothy Kirkland Brown. Elizabeth Grace Cummings. Allison Nicole Meski. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Bioengineering, Anna Marie Slavin. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Computer Science, Kason Chan. Lakan Jawar. Jonathan Rodriguez. Austin Whittington. Receiving the degree of Master of Science in Chemical Engineering, Stephanie Marie Lopez. Win Juan Baowin. Receiving the degree of Master of Science in Civil Engineering, Vamshi Krishna Baduna. Susan, Germany. Paul Joseph Gianni. Jordan Gibbs. Li Yu. Kevin Seidigzadeh. Santiago Soto. Randall Spears. Andrew Terry. Carlos Denise Perez Negron. Nadine Esterman. Daniel Jinks. Vinay Kaminani. Surindran Koramchankar. Rindu Chantadala Chandrakat. Mohan Upaze. Receiving a Master's in Industrial Engineering and Master of Science, Saeed Peizanikju. Receiving a degree of Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering, Ivan Gutierrez. Kendrick Lang. Charles Moore. Obina Aswagu. Receiving a degree of Master of Science in Petroleum Engineering, Mohammed Awazaibi. Sputi Dasari. Rakesh Puja. Receiving a degree of Master of Science in Electrical Engineering. Receiving a degree of Master of Arts with a major in Interdisciplinary Studies, Deborah Crosby. Christy Felton. Amy Huff. Lisa Huntsman. Lori Rodriguez. Scipio Reginald Scholars II. James H. Whitfield, Jr. Receiving a degree of Master of Arts with a major in Museum Science, John Michael Cavazos. Tiffany Demon. Anna Jolly. Timothy McSweeney. Casey Seeger. Faik Alaskerov. Jason Jares Flores. Laura Lican Lopez. Sherry Loving. Gabriel Vasquez. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Environmental Design, Xuan Yu. Shaimu Sharif. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Hospitality and Retail Management, Nicholas Capadegli. Zhang Zhou. Crystal Morales. Mackenzie Murray. Elizabeth Schultz. Kelsey Shuey. Caroline Traeger. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Nutritional Sciences, Melanie Boynton. Brianne Durbin. Ashlyn Harmon. Emily Cornegay. Cassandra Leeper. Alexandria Mata. Mary Payne. Receiving the degree of Master of Science with a major in Personal Financial Planning, Adam Bonner. Emily Brooks. Candace J. Schultz. Julianne Stevens. Receiving the degree of Master of Arts with a major in Mass Communications, Caitlin Billings. Roxy Bustamante. Jillian Claxton. Daniela Contreras Diaz. Jordan Lee Fletcher. Sydney Rebecca Gatewood. Robert Giovanetti. Cody Hale. Heather Horn. Jennifer Hummer. Christopher Jonquier. Lauren Kozlowski. Catherine McBee. David McVeigh. Catherine Plyler. Kevin Wade. Corey Williams. Marissa Danielle Williams. Kristen Willis. Receiving the degree of Master of Art Education, Jason Luce. Daniel Smith. Valley Suzanne Owens. Rachel Bren Spear.
I know the audience would like to join me in another round of applause for our graduates. Congratulations again. You may have noticed that some of our graduates and faculty are wearing camouflage stoles. The individuals wearing these stoles have served active duty in our armed forces. Would the graduates and faculty wearing these stoles please rise so we can recognize your service to our country? Let's show our appreciation to these armed services members. You may be seated, and thank you again for your service. I would also like members of our audience who have served in the military to also stand, and let's recognize them as well. People that have served in our military, thank you. Please be seated. We've now come to the concluding moments of the commencement ceremony, but please allow me a few more words before we end. Graduates, congratulations on a job very well done. Attaining a master's or doctoral degree is a significant accomplishment. It speaks to your high level of personal motivation, natural curiosity, and love of intellectual pursuit. Let me assure you that the entire Texas Tech University community is proud of your achievements, as are your parents, family, loved ones, and friends who are sharing this evening with you. As much as graduation is about each of you, it's also about the people who helped you get to this moment. Your education has not been a solitary endeavor. This is not a journey you've taken alone. Your family and friends have been there beside you. And just as Dr. Ensley recognized them, I'd also like to have all the family members of our graduates tonight please rise, and graduates, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, and you may be seated. Hopefully your graduate studies have provided the opportunity to develop a special relationship with a faculty mentor, to learn from other students, and to sample the ideas of the faculty as you acquired the prevailing wisdom of your field. During your time at Texas Tech, the faculty have done more than share their knowledge of the subject matter. They have provided skill and qualities that you'll need for success in your future. Some have inspired you, and many have become friends, and we take much pride in your success. I would like all of our faculty, who I think are just world-renowned, to please rise, and let's give a round of applause to our outstanding faculty. Thank you, and you may be seated. To Chancellor Duncan and each member of the Texas Tech Board of Regents, thank you for your vision and your guidance. Graduates, your departure from this arena today is another reminder that change is inevitable. But by the virtue of your experience here at Texas Tech University, you've established friendships that will last a lifetime. These relationships are the source of stability and fulfillment. Nurture those friendships and hold close your connections to Texas Tech. You and this university will be better for it. Texas Tech University will always be your home. Return to campus when you can. Speak well of your alma mater and tell the world with pride that you're a Red Raider. To the class of December 2014, my heartfelt congratulations to all of you and best wishes for your success. And always remember, as Chairman Long said, always strive for honor evermore. And always remember that you're a Red Raider, and guns up. And now I'd like each of you to please stand, everyone in the audience as well, as we have the playing and singing of our national anthem. Mr. Taylor Bell, who received his Bachelor of Music with a music major, will sing the words. The words are also located on the back cover of your program and will also be up on the big screen in front of you. Let's all join together in singing the Matador song, our alma mater.
Matadors for Tech, songs of love will sing to thee. Bear our banners far and wide, ever to be
At this time, will parents and guests of the graduates please be seated for the recessional? After the recessional, please be seated. After the recessional, graduates may claim their diplomas in the Citibank room on the second floor of the arena. Thank you for participating in the December 2014 Texas Tech University Graduate School Commencement. And once again, guns up!